Yeah, I was kind of numb at that point. I think and just trying to figure out what we're going to do if he wasn't able to play for the rest of the game, and try to come up with solutions to the issue. And then went up to him and kind of asked him what he thought, and he looked up and said, "Just put a brace on, and I'll be fine." It just blew me away. After looking at the shot he took and how tough he was, and then come back and make a play like that was one of the coolest things I've been a part of.
Right behind him, Ari, second row.
Hey, Ryan, I know this is your first go-around through this whole thing, but the month of December is kind of a hectic time because if you're presumably in the playoff, you're playing a game on the 28th, and early signing period is like 10 days before that. I'm wondering, does having a full class right now give you any advantage over some of the other teams you might be facing just because the class is basically full? And how do you plan to manage your time as a first-year head coach, because this is a very intense month for just your future and, of course, the games you're playing?
Yeah, I mean, the last couple of years we've had the same issue, so I've been a part of that, seeing what the blueprint is for that. But it certainly is a challenge because we have so many mid-year guys coming in, and we only have 1 week out on the road, really only 4 days. So it's gonna be a bear. Try to get out there and see everybody and get all that done. So Mark's working hard on it. We're trying to get all the plans together to make sure we maximize all the time. There's also some other events going on during that week. So it'll be a race.
What is the blueprint?
Well, it's just the fact that you have to, that first week, make sure you do a good job getting out there and recruiting, and then figuring out what bowl game you're in, and then managing your time and organizing the practices so you're ready to roll.
And there's a situation where, depending on how things shake out on Sunday, they're going to ask you and your higher ups about like where you prefer. Does recruiting ever come into what site you prefer in terms of destination wise? Does recruiting ever play a part in that in terms of prospects you want, prospects you need?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I honestly don't even have time right now to think about any of that. It's all about trying to win this game, and then once if we get to that point, we'll kind of cross that bridge as we get there. And that's a good question for the administration and Gene right now, because it's just trying to get a first down against Wisconsin right now.
Front row middle, Dave.
Ryan, kind of going off of Mitchell's question, Justin Fields is such a good runner, but you obviously cannot afford to lose him. Just how difficult of a balance is that to walk as a play caller?
I mean, you do everything you can to be successful. You know that you have to win games, and it's a must. And so you do the things that put your guys in the best position to be successful schematically. And but then you also understand that there's risk to it, and you try to do the best you can to risk reward it. It's good to know that he's so tough and he can handle that stuff. But there's certainly risk that comes with it.
I want to ask about Jonathan Cooper as well. I know the plan is for him to redshirt, but if you guys happen to get banged up at defensive end, let's say you're in a national semifinal game in the playoffs or a national championship game, might you use him, and would it be his call? Just what might occur there? Could the plan change?
The plan won't change.
Okay.
No. If left up to him, he probably would, because he's so competitive and he loves his teammates. But that's something that the coaches have to get in front of and make sure that no, we don't do that. He deserves to play a full senior year, and I know he wants to. And he was conflicted on what to do in the situation, but we think it's the best thing to just hold tight and give it another year.
Over here to the right, Don.
Coach, you look at Wisconsin, I mean, you hear people say it's hard to beat a team twice in the same year. You buy into that, and what do you see when you look at them? How much tougher will it be this time around?
Yeah, it'd be really tough. It is. It's, and so much of it is the situation and when you played them and everything like that. But this is a very, very well-coached team. And Coach Chris, I think, is one of the best coaches, not only in the conference, but in the country. And you look at what he's done and how many times he's been to this game, and the staff, they do a great job. And they're very, very well coached. And I think they got better as the season's going on. So, yeah, it's going to be a big challenge, and it's going to be hard. It's going to go all the way to the fourth quarter. And so we need to have great practice here.
Weather was a factor the first time. In December, anything can happen. You're going to be indoors. You welcome that?
Yeah, I mean, the situation's the same for both sides. It was in the first game. It will be in the second game. I will say that it's nice to be playing indoors, though, after the last 4 weeks of kind of tough weather. But yeah, it'll be the same for both sides. I don't think there's an advantage on either end.
Right behind him, Clay.
After what you said to me before you got on the bus the other day, and just sort of going through that experience in that game, do you feel? I know the pressure never relents, but do you feel lighter? I mean, was a weight lifted off of your shoulders after winning that game? You said we had to win. We had to win.
Yeah, I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. People say, you know, what if you don't win the game? You know, there's no choice. You have to win the game. You don't have a choice when you're a Buckeye. You have to win that game. And so, yeah, there's a lot that came with that. And after that game, there was a sigh of relief, but it didn't last long. You know, once we crossed the border back into Ohio, it was on to the next game, and that's got to be the focus here. And so the message has been to the team that, you know, the end of the first race is coming on Saturday night at 8 o'clock, and we have to accelerate through that finish line. And as much as these games have been emotional, and they've been emotional wins, and they've been big wins, they don't mean anything if we don't win this game. And that's what's great about playing like this in this format. You know, the games get bigger as the season goes on, and we got to do a great job preparing again this week.
Front row right, Austin.
Right, Chase has a couple times mentioned frustration with plays where he feels like he's getting held a lot. Have you guys at any time sent tape into the Big Ten to review the way he's being blocked at times?
Yeah, we do that as kind of a regular basis and send things in, and you know, get some back and forth with Bill Carroll and the staff there, and you know, sometimes we agree on things, sometimes we don't, but you know, it's, you know, kind of part of the game, the back and forth there. And I thought they did a good job with some of the things they did schematically, and you know, you kind of go back and forth with it, but I think the referees do a good job, and you know, they can't catch them all, and they're honest, and there's great feedback there, and I think they're very professional in how they go about their business.
And so Chase has been upfront as well that all he wants is the team to win. I know you guys would like to have him get more sacks. When you go through a game like Saturday, he doesn't have one. Does that surprise the coaching staff? Do you guys still see the impact you wanted on tape? What did you think about him Saturday?
Yeah, no, I thought he played good. I thought they did a good job on some of the things they did later on. When things changed up a little bit, he got a great hurry on Patterson. Really had an impact on the second half, in my opinion. I mean, he took a shot right there, and those add up over time. And again, his presence matters. So although sometimes maybe it doesn't mean he's getting sacks or TFLs, when, you know, 2 or 3 guys, you know, get the attention of him, that opens up things for other guys. And so, you know, Coop getting a sack, you know, and that max protection with the whole line was sliding his way. I mean, that's part of the impact that Chase has on the game.
Third row right, Rob.
You said you have to win them all, but there's talk out there today that you don't have to win Saturday and make the playoff. There seems to be that kind of speculation going on. Your response to that, and then secondly, I think you've said this before, some variation of this. Are you a big believer in conference champs should make it or not? Or is that in an expanded playoff or before?
Yeah, I mean, all I know is we have to go win this game, you know, for a lot of reasons. And the Big Ten championship game is one of our goals, year in and year out. And so that's just the focus. And certainly, again, for me to speculate on all those things at this point right now doesn't really matter. You know, I know we got a great team, and we just have to win this weekend. And then everything will take care of itself if we do that and focus on that, because the other speculation or talk or what if scenarios for us, for me, doesn't do us any good right now. So again, just focus on that finish line.
So really winning the conference is that a requirement, you think, should be for you? Or?
I mean, for this team right now, it is, yeah.
Second row.